I was in at 8:30 one morning and I was painting a dummy in the mortuary, which is part of Jack the Ripper in the display. And I heard someone come in and walk towards me. I started talking to them. I glanced up, there was a guy there. He was fairly young, sandy-coloured hair and white shirt. I literally did only glance at him, carried on painting the dummy and started talking to him. I'd been talking for a few seconds and I looked over and realised there was no one there, no one in the building, nothing. So I sort of stood back, my God, what's happened, who was that? Went out the room, went down to the other end, realised there was only actually one other person in the building and it definitely wasn't him that was in the room. So I just can't explain what had happened.
Over the past 20 years, all sorts of rumours have circulated in the dungeon, and the live actors here, even though they're employed to frighten people, they're actually quite frightened themselves, some of them, and they've always said there's a weird feeling here.
I was in the body section of Jack the Ripper on my own, and the other person on Jack was in mortuary, and the door from bodies to Mitre Square opened really slowly, stopped, and then it closed really slowly. So it wasn't a breeze, it didn't open and then just slam shut. And I thought it was someone messing about, so I went through into Mitre Square. No one was there. I went into mortuary, and Paul, who I thought was joking around and playing around, I said to him, "Paul, what are you doing messing about?" And he was pressing the button in mortuary. So he couldn't have done it, it was impossible, because he needed to be there to press the button. He said, "What are you talking about?" And I just went, "Oh right, okay," and walked back. And I mean, there was no one about.
Even the tourists themselves sense that eeriness here, almost like a church. Whether or not you're religious, you do sense that feeling of reverence. And here you do sense a feeling of, obviously it's not reverence, but it's a feeling of something sinister, a sense of the macabre.
I've been working at the dungeon for a year and a half now, and although I haven't seen anything as like a ghostly apparition, lady in black, someone in a top hat, when I lock up the building of a night or open of a morning, I do get the sense that there is something there. Certain areas in the dungeon that are more frightening, if you want, more spooky.
We called in the paranormal investigators, and apparently, in fact, from this area here, a spirit is following people through Jack the Ripper, and then it kind of disappears as it goes towards one of the victims.
All the stories that I've heard from other people that worked here, people that worked in the past, have been either Jack the Ripper or the Theatre of the Guillotine, which is roughly around the same area. There's also one story about the back of the boat ride which leads into Jack the Ripper, so it tends to be the far end of the dungeon.
My name's Paul Southcott, I'm Head of Investigations for the group, and I've been dealing with paranormal activity for 33 years. It's just an interest I took up as a kid and just stayed with me ever since and grew inside me.
We believe that there are some spirits here, and by some of the readings that we've picked up, we truly believe that there are there, yeah.
My mum thinks I'm balmy. My sister, she don't talk to me anymore. And most of my friends are just very interested.
So we've got the sounds of the tubes going over, so we know what that one is. What? Michaela, you know this draft that's coming down? Is that there all the time? Yeah, so that's what we can hear now, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the air conditioning.
Right. Okay. Just basically now waiting for a pickup on the gizmo. Well, what we do is, the gizmo is like a main instrument. It does the lot really. It just picks up anything that shouldn't basically be there. But when we go around, we do take the video cameras, which also pick up all the noises that we can't hear as well. We have got a really sensitive device that can sort of get noises from about, you know, like 100 times higher than what we can hear, but it's out of action at the moment. We take other audible equipment around with us, and we just try to pick up, at the end of the day, noises that shouldn't be there, but are not familiar. Then we check the noises from the videos against noises from the audios to see if they both match. And if they don't, then we work and concentrate on that one little area and trying to decipher what it was. It picks up the noises that shouldn't be there, but amplifies it. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a microphone, but on the other end it can pick up the noises, but it's noises that we can't hear. It's tones, it's changes in the air, you know, like a break in the air, but it will pick it up.
Like an electromagnetic?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It detects variations in electromagnetic.
That's right, yeah.
Who constructed that for you?
A geezer called Professor Steve Clements.
Professor Steve Clements?
Yeah, Clements.
Clements.
Yeah. And there's only 3 of these in the world. It took quite a few years to build, and it's built it in such a way where it does not pick up human energy, or it will not pick up machinery. It deciphers the lot, and the sounds that come through are the sounds of the paranormal.
They're all interesting. I mean, every case you do is interesting because you never ever know what's around the corner. But I mean, the London Dungeon has been a good one. Oxton Hall's been a good one. The Shakespeare was good, probably because it was a pub.
My particular interest is really UFOs. And in 1995 I had quite a close encounter along with my daughter and 2 of her friends, and that's what started me off. Basically I wanted to tell someone about it, and there was no group around that would actually listen. They wanted photographs and stuff like that. I think that given that there was 4 of us who saw the same thing, I think that's proof enough. And it weren't just a quick light in the sky, it was a 3-hour experience with a lot of things happening.
I've had a lot of personal experiences since I was born, really, and I studied the Bible for 3 years with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and now I'm studying at the College of Psychics at South Kensington. I've had a lot of personal experiences when I was a young child, sort of small premonitions and predictions, sort of telling me mum that there's going to be an aeroplane crash, you know, the next day on the news. An aeroplane crashed at that time that I said there's going to be a plane crash. My parents always sort of told me to ignore it. So basically I tried as much as possible to ignore all this sort of stuff. The psychic abilities of me really opened up, and I think I let in a lot of demon type of spirits into my room and into my head a bit.
Film this bit. Say happy there. Right that candle.
And then when I got to about 23, I woke up, which is a major flashback, freaked me out, done me brain in, sent me crazy for about 3 years, because all the psychic abilities came even stronger because I was an adult, and the spirits were physically attacking me. So I had all that plus the flashbacks and couldn't work out what was going on and why. So, you know, I'd say about 6 years ago, I eventually started studying the Bible with the witnesses, mostly for protection from these spirits. And, you know, it works.
It's just a general interest in all the stars, you know. My mates would be out playing football, but I sort of get in early just to do a bit of stargazing, and then things like Lost in Space come on telly, so I thought, oh, flying saucers, and I used to sit at my window waiting for one to come past. It never come. Then you get the, you know, your old ghost stories on the telly, so it was just a mixture of things, probably weird for a kid back then, but, you know, it's done me all right now.
In 1941, there was a horrible tragedy here. There was an air raid shelter on the site, underneath the arches, underneath London Bridge, and basically an HE bomb dropped through London Bridge Railway, straight through into the shelter, exploded in the shelter, and there were 300 people there, and over 60 were known to have died in the shelter. And over half of them were unfortunately under the age of 18, which makes it all more tragic.
I think a very interesting theory is that, you know, if a lot of people are killed in the space of a few seconds, there's this incredible emotional intensity in the air, and maybe somehow that has a way of, the building itself has a way of recording that, rather like you're recording on a camera at the moment. And it, perhaps the energy force of that terrible moment when all of these people were under extreme emotional anguish hangs around in the air, you know.
Because I heard the woman talking today, and she said there's good and there's evil, but there seems to be more strength toward the evil side than the good side. And it's all mixed in, but they can't tell whether it's 1 ghost, 2 ghosts, 20 ghosts, 3 ghosts.
But there is a ghost.
I think it's about 60 from the Second World War thing.
Yeah, that's right.
If there is such a thing as ghosts, then surely it doesn't matter whether they're alive or dead. If they're still with us, they're still with us. No one's freaked out so far, so why should they be freaked out again?
You just lost souls.
But you tell them from me that I am frightened. But I think that they should just leave it alone. I think death should be just death. And like, if there is ghosts in here, I think they should leave it alone.
If they're trapped, they might be more
I think by disturbing them, you might upset them, basically. They're doing their thing, and we're doing our thing.
Well, that's why
you make yourself believe that it's there. Do you understand? You know, if you're really curious about something, it's like kids, they want sweets, and they make themselves believe that they're going to get it, and then when you know, I don't know. I have to see it for myself, and if anybody in here has seen a ghost, I want to see it as well. I'm not frightened to see it. That's one thing, I'm not frightened. I do believe there is a man upstairs.
Those are the only ghosts that are in here, the people that got killed in the air raid. And then supposedly these Satanists came in and did a satanic ritual.
They did.
And they have supposedly brought in some evil ghosts, because I heard the woman talking today, and she said there's good and there's evil, but there seems to be more strength toward the evil side than the good side. And it's all mixed in, but they can't tell whether it's 1 ghost, 2 ghosts, 20 ghosts, 3 ghosts.
I've been working here for about 5 weeks now, maybe 6 weeks, and the worst thing is about a week ago when we've had these Ghostbusters types in, and I was down on Jack the Ripper, which is the bit where you've got all the photographs of all the dead women, you know, that Jack the Ripper killed. And basically last Tuesday I was down there and I was told about what had been going on and everything, and I started to get a bit freaked out and got sort of goosebumps all up and down my arms, and it all went a bit cold. It's always cold in that room, as it is in the Jack the Ripper bit, and going from crowd all the way walking down there, it's all very, very cold, and you sometimes get a little bit spooked out by things. I haven't actually seen anything, but doors fly open, certain things which you can put down to the wind, or I don't know, vacuums of air and things like that. But it is a bit spooky. First thing in the morning, it's not that nice. It's not that nice place to be by yourself wandering around. I don't like it that much. But I haven't actually, touch wood, seen anything yet.
Yeah, it's all around. You know, at the Shakespeare when we done Adam, and it was surrounded, it's one of them ones.
Brilliant.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Sorry.
It's a weird
Sorry?
level.
No, there's... Look, you've got to hear that noise. Okay, can you hear it? Look, you don't even have to put them on. Hear it?
Yeah.
The other interference.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's a new one.
I used to live in a caravan in Essex and had a friendly ghost that used to walk up my path like 3 or 4 times a week. The first 3 or 4 times I answered the door because I thought someone was coming out the door. But after that, I just let it go.
How do you distinguish friendly from unfriendly?
It didn't bother me, so I took it as friendly.
Excellent.
It's just solid noises all the way through, really, all the way along.
Julie?
Yeah, here.
Here.
Yeah, there's something here and all.
Right, can you hear that?
Hang on.
You hear it?
Yeah.
That woo, 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 woo sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slowly.
Yeah?
I would really say that there is actually something now moving around, right around us to actually break that wave. Can you pick it up?
He doesn't blow things out of proportion. He doesn't embellish things, you know. He just deals with facts, really, and he doesn't go beyond that point. I mean, for example, he's detected various areas of electromagnetic density, I think he terms it. And he won't necessarily be drawn into saying what that is exactly. He won't come to any conclusion about it. He won't try and push it beyond the bounds of realism, if you like. You know, he'll sort of stay fairly sensitive about it and say, this is what we've detected, this is what it's doing, it's moving about.
A relationship with other groups is non-existent. We work on our own, solely on our own. There's a lot of groups out there who just set up just plainly to milk people. We're not like that, so we can't afford to be duped, sucked in or used, so we just do what we think's best and just keep on our own, and that way we can't get in no trouble. No one can blame us, we can't blame them.
It's easing off a bit now, but it was just pretty rapid, weren't it?
Like a squeak at intervals.
Yeah, it's gone, it's past. I would actually say it was around us at that time breaking up these waves. So the only thing is, I don't know what way it went.
They're all ongoing because, I mean, take for argument's sake, the dungeons probably it's been probably haunted for what, 50 years getting on, you know, but we've just come along and discovered it really is.
Let's go 6, 5, 4, whatever. Yeah?
0, that was.
With investigations, they only stop when the person who calls you in says, you know, I don't want you to do no more, or you get a medium in and they do what they call a clearance, and then there really is nothing more to do. But I should say about 80% of investigations never ever finish.
At one point I just had to take the headphones off really quickly because there was like a tapping sound and it just went straight through me, and I said, look, what the hell's this? And apparently it's spirits trying to contact us.
Like Rachel, do you remember that time the door opened on Rachel and Jack and she was so scared to go down and she couldn't be there on her own?
But you're saying that you've been here for 6 months and you haven't seen anything or heard anything. But ghosts don't work like that. They don't work as soon as, like now, they might just not, you know, because everyone's out there looking for it. It might
Well, you see, that's it. You see, they were fine before. But they might have got really threatened and feel upset now. And feel
What, because we're
cornered.
invading their
Yes,
space?
yeah, because they're actually going out there looking for them. For what? For what reason?
Yeah, that's
what are they
what
going to... They find them. What are they going to do with them?
He had the gizmo, that big box thing. It's the gateway for them to start reacting back to them. So that's almost like the line of communication is set up through the box. And then if they want to get in contact with us, then that's how they do it. This is what he was trying to say to me today. But not only, but he was trying to make out that there's evil here. There's all this evil in the building. But I just think that's the attitude of a lot of people that come through, you know, because of just the way the building's run.
This is the first stage of our investigation. So today, all we've done basically is come down with Polaroids, video, and the gizmo. We've gone round with the gizmo in any area that registers high levels of energy. We photographed and videoed, which we will eventually take back home and study them at greater length.
When I came round the dungeon with Paul, looking for spirits with a detector, we were accompanied by a display artist, Pam, and she just casually happened to mention that quite a lot of the skeletons in the dungeon are actually real. And I didn't realise that, and Paul said, well, for God's sake, no wonder you're haunted. And there's one skeleton in particular that's just hanging up in a gibbet cage, and it just looks down at you.
Well, we're here to find what they're here to find, and we have to work here once they've gone, so I'd really rather not know.
Do you think they should have left it alone?
I think they should have left it alone, but I don't know, I would like to leave it alone, basically.
You've had any experiences yourself?
No, never. I don't intend to. Don't go looking for them, which is what they do professionally.
So you're not staying around seeing what goes on?
No, I'm going out for cocktails.
I mean, I find life really boring, don't you? Most of the time, you know, because, you know, the constant sort of pursuit for money, you know, it takes up a lot of time. So anything that happens slightly out of the ordinary or slightly interesting, I'm well into, you know. So yeah, I'm going to go around with them tonight and watch, you know. Exciting, isn't it?
Okay, then, this draft that's coming down. Can you hear that one? I'll get that.
Yeah. I could also...
Really broken.
Oh my God.
That means that I would really say that there is actually something now moving around, right around us to actually break that wave and pick it up. Look now. You've got Lamont here, and sort of we've got... This one may be interesting. It's hard to tell under this because of the way it is, but we've got to let this one dry off natural. I thought we might be in luck. Where was that taken? When Barbara said it was an 8-point reading? I mean, like, at the moment they look different because, like, they're covered in water. Well, to tell the truth, this one's covered in water, this one ain't. So this one is a good bet. I've got to wait for this to dry and then work out what is droplets, basically. But it just looks as though there might be a shape there. But I've got to wait. I mean, I can't tell properly at the moment. It's just torchlight, dark, and it's wet. But do you want to go to a light and check them, and I'll check this thing again?
Shall I put these up on the board so they can dry, yeah? Okay, good luck. This kind of work may seem really weird to most people, but in reality, I saw my first UFO when I was 7, and I've always had an interest since then. And I've had a couple of sightings in between, which have been quite big ones, really good ones, you know. And so I've always realised there was something out there. When I started the group, that was the basis for founding it. And we've moved into other areas, and now we deal with everything. Ghosts, witchcraft, crop circles, anything of an unusual nature we deal with.
I think actually it might be that light behind there.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh. No, could it be? No, it couldn't be. Because it's come out, look, it's come out this side. It's like through there. Can you see what I mean? This is the bit. This is the bit we can't identify.
Yeah, I'm getting that.
Or is it a bit of cloth or what? I don't know.
Where's the reading? Bloody hell. Where is it? Left, right, above? All around?
Just a general reading.
The power's cut out again. It's broken. The electric power's cut out 3 times today, and there's no explanation for it. This is the 4th time. Can you get out and push?
But perhaps we shouldn't go any further if we can't control the road. Oh, shut up.
Broken down, something's happened the other end.
Does that normally happen?
No.
What happened? Did you all have to get off the boat?
Yeah, we broke down.
Well, we know why, don't we? They're messing around with us.
We have our money back.
Don't be cheeky.
It's difficult until they fully developed, until we've got a magnifying glass on them. Because they do take minutes to develop. I'll hurry this one along. I think the reason these were taken is because the gizmo was going off strongly in that place, that's why. Can't see anything offhand in these, no. The reason we use Polaroids is because you can't tamper with them. Negatives you can get double exposed and whatever. These have no negatives, so they're just... what you see is what you get.
It's interesting that all the electricity breaks down on the boat, so I think there's a sign there that it's supposed to be sort of a river of death. Someone said it might have something to do with what happened at the Tower of London. There's sort of had that in mind when they was designing or building it. I'm not really sure. And when you go through it, sort of you hear the voices sort of saying, "You're nothing," you know, you're going to die or whatever.
That's the recorded voices.
Yeah. So, and the electric power keep going out is sort of a typical one that the other side has, this sort of ability to play with lights and electricity. Obviously that riverboat has got a large amount of electricity, so it's a powerful bit of spirit that you're playing with here.
I've heard several stories. In the guillotine area, we've got 2 main doors, and they're very big, they're very, very heavy doors, and they need someone to actually pull them open. I've heard one story that the doors were rattling one day from the outside, and the actor that was inside went to open the door to see who was messing around, and there was no one there.
It's like full rev now. Yeah, and it's all around the doorway, yeah?
Another story I heard was that the doors one day flew open by themselves. Now, for that to happen is almost impossible. They'd have to be pushed, and you'd see someone outside, and there was no one there.
Yeah, now it's going back to the like that. Yeah, we just picked up a weak beat from the gizmo on the doors, and when Alan there went to touch the door, it started to speed up really increasingly to a really fast rhythm, and every time they're playing with the doors, it's picking up a reaction. So there's something around in the doors that just allows them going to. Right, see, it's gone calm, not calmish, but...
I want to know what that is. See that? See that V-shaped thing there?
So that was number 3?
That was number 3, yeah.
So then I think that would have been, what's all this red?
I think it's the back of one of the models.
But what's that? That's what I'm interested in.
Sorry, I was only joking when I said...
If you look at it, you can see
it seems to be
it's
coming
like,
out, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's floating in front of the metal. I don't know if you can get a close-up on it. Whatever, we're just looking at this little bit here.
Someone was stood there, that's what I was thinking.
Well, everyone's been talking about it, you know, on the floor all day, you know. Oh, you know, you should leave it alone in case something dodgy happens. Or, that's all right, you know. And everyone's been recounting their little stories, mostly to do with doors around the Jack the Ripper section, just slowly opening.
And it got knockers on the doors, and the knockers started knocking, but the thing is, the whole door wasn't moving. So I had a friend run round the outside to catch him. And I'm standing outside waiting for him to come out, and he said there was no one there. And then they carried on knocking until a show was coming down, and they stopped. There's little things. I blew out candles, come back in the morning to light the candles, and the candles lit. And I'd like to know who lit them.
Did you think anybody could be playing tricks on them?
No, not at all, because I was the last person to go out. But I definitely know there is ghosts. I don't care what anyone says. You just know.
There is an evil presence drawing nearer, growing stronger. But we must go on. Coincidence? Surely not. Or is this the face of Jack the Ripper?
She was the first of Jack's victims. She was most certainly not the last. In the following weeks and months, he killed many more prostitutes before disappearing, never to be found. Now, as you continue through Whitechapel, you may experience some rather strange things, and I do suggest for your sakes that you stick close together. If you wander off on your own and you're in a spot of bother and you try to scream for help, no one will hear you. So I hope, ladies, you came in here today with a big, strong gentleman to hold on to. And if you did come here alone, I suggest you try to make a friend very quickly. Follow me. I can only wish you good luck and Godspeed.
We've continued to investigate down here. We've been here, I think, about 6 times. Each time we spent the whole day here. We've filmed in various areas, particularly around Jack and the mortuary, where a cloaked figure has been seen quite recently, which is interesting, given that news staff have even seen it. In the times that we've had a break from being here, we've come back to staff saying, oh yeah, we've seen a guy down there. Well, we think it's a man in a cloak, so it was quite interesting.
It was a week into when I first started at the London Dungeon, and I was in the last section of the guillotine area. And it was in the times where the room was completely black when you brought a group in, and very often people wouldn't move forwards to where you need them to be. And it was quite a difficult task. And I've basically brought the people forwards to where they need to be. I saw about 4 people start to move, and I've sort of put my arm behind one of them and trying to coax everyone else down. And the show starts, the button's been pressed, the show's starting, drum roll, and basically the lights came up and I turned around, there was no one there, when I thought I'd brought at least 4 people who I'd seen, and I touched one as they came forward. When the light came up, there was nobody there at all, and the whole group was still at the back of the room. So that to me was quite a spooky experience. I don't know whether it was a ghost or whether it was just, I have no idea.
What we're doing here is we're monitoring the room next door, and we're also putting it straight down onto a cassette now to review the evidence later on. We're also making notes of temperature changes outside, which is done all automatically. So far, in 35 minutes, we've had a drop of -5, which is quite good.
We try and be as scientific as we can. I mean, this is not a precise science, as you can appreciate, but we work on the basis that if anybody's going to come and look at our work, then we want it to be as explainable as possible. So we're very clear about needing to record what we do, and we do that a number of ways. I mean, we temperature record, as I think I explained to you earlier. We capture situations in terms of the way temperature changes, and that's often, based on the experience of others, a clear indicator of some presence or something happening. So temperature is one thing we record. We visually record, so we have video cameras running all of the time using clean blank tapes so that there's no accusation of being tampered or being used before. So we're always videoing. We also write, we record clearly what happens, so we rewrite on a data record sheet time, what's happening, temperature change, and any other significant event throughout a period of observation. We do that rigorously. The other piece of equipment we've got is something we call the gizmo.
It's a new powerful model. This one gives us more scope than what we had before. It gives us more range, and it cuts out a lot of background as well, which the other one did pick up, but this one, it cuts it out. It's got a nice filter system on it, so we can get right clear sounds, and yeah, it's just an improved version, which again is going to give it a good run later on.
You can see now, I don't know if you can hear it, we've got Paul now with the gizmo. I turn the volume up for you slightly, and you'll hear the machine actually going. What it's actually doing is, Paul at the moment is scanning this particular area where this manifestation supposedly took place. As I said, was a boy and a girl. Just behind Barbara here, who's also standing there, just behind her there, that's where the manifestation appeared.
At the moment I'm monitoring the outside, which is called Owen's Yard, and that apparently, this position here, there's supposed to be a manifestation of a boy and a girl who's supposed to have come through the wall there. And basically what I'm also doing is I'm taking temperature from outside. We've got another system which sits outside and sends a signal to us, giving us a constant temperature variance. And at the moment it's dropped quite a few degrees, if you could see, because we have to take a time. And as you can see, we've gone down from 24 now to 20, which is quite a drop in that space of time. It's a matter of not proving or disproving. It's a matter of taking it seriously. A lot of people obviously laugh at it, and a lot of people find it, you know, a load of rubbish, basically. Whereas myself, I'm somebody that wants to prove the existence, whether it be scientifically or spiritually. That's my main interest, and people have been trying to do this for probably about 150 years with not much success. Oh, he wants me to go onto the light now, so let's change over. Yeah, I've got it onto the light, Paul.
Yeah, give me the last 3 temperature readings and the time, please.
It's a massive constant coming down this morning. It's coming down this morning.
Right, well, Paul's just informed me that they're picking up something now within this area. That's why I've just switched back on to camera 1. Hopefully, something is going to show, or something might show.
It's running straight directly along here. Right, now I'm detecting upwards towards the light.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a cold spot there. It's all the way down. Yeah, it's like a sheet coming down, probably like a freezing cold shower, yeah?
I'm taking a reading now, yeah? Okay, now what's actually happening is we're keeping an eye on the temperature, because the temperature does seem to be dropping a little bit quicker than it should be.
Right, we're still in a cold spot, and it's going straight across. It's like a fridge door opening. It's all around. Yeah, it's all above, definitely above.
Just one solid column.
Surprisingly, you get an extreme amount of curiosity. I guess curiosity is the word that I'd use most for the way people react. They look at you strangely when you tell them what you're doing, but they get very curious. So tell me, you know, what did you see? How did it happen? That's the kind of general reaction. So, and because it's surprising, it always surprises me that there are many more people who are curious and not sure about things and really want to find out more.
Whenever we've discovered anything in a place, we want to leave it up to the people who live there. I wouldn't presume to advise them, but if they did want help to get rid of it, we do know an atheist exorcist, which is a good one, quite unusual. We know mediums. We have people affiliated with our group who help us out on that basis. If we need them, they will come in and do it. Apart from that, we really think if they're not giving you a problem, don't hassle them, leave them be. It's just an interesting thing to do, and maybe one day we will get the definitive proof.
Of course, you do get the the kind of completely dismissive reaction as well. That's all it's all a load of bollocks kind of reaction. But you get but a lot more curiosity than anything else.
A girl, unfortunately, she's left now. She saw what she thought was herself in a monitor, and she was bored, so she started waving, as you do, and it didn't wave back. So she stuck her head through the hatch to where this thing should have been, the girl should have been, and there was no one there. So it was quite interesting as well. I was down here myself on my own about 3 weeks ago, and I set up some equipment up along the back of the boat ride. Now, the dungeons were closed, and on the monitor I could see someone clambering over the boats, and I thought, oh, that's good, I'm not alone, it must be the repairman. But it wasn't, because he come through the other door, so I'm not sure what that was either.
Within the space of half an hour or so, it went down 3 times. The lights went out 3 times, and all the surrounding lights went out for about 15 seconds. So the place, the boat ride area was in complete darkness for about 15 seconds. Now, in the year and 2 months I've worked here, I've never known that to happen.
What's happened? Are we stuck?
Looks like it.
We're broke down. Everyone keeps sitting down.
Yeah, don't move.
Hey!
You're right, love.
What happened then? The hydraulics stopped?
All right, well, we can look at hydraulics, or we can look at ghosties.
Yeah, I know.
Every time we come round this way, we get crap. Not like that.
Well, technically, what was supposed to happen is when we was on that boat ride, when the guns go off, the boat automatically tips back immediately and you go down. But we didn't, we stayed there.
This is fucking dangerous. Here we go.
I said to Paul, is the gizmo making any noise? And Paul says, no, it's quiet. But I felt something coming from the right-hand side. It was like, probably an unpleasant feeling. It shot through me. I mean, I'm not no psychic or anything, but nevertheless, I felt spooked, and then that happened. So I'm still shaking. Bastards.
Yeah.
They did it deliberately.
They did it
deliberately.
No, that is not funny.
That shouldn't have done that. And to me, all right, I know it's a simple technical breakdown, but to me it's just like them saying, right, we know you're here, now you know we're here. We can do things that you can't, we can do this to you, you can't do it to us. So watch it, don't mess with us. That was really dangerous.
Yeah, I know. That is spooky.
We could have been killed then. I mean, I don't get spooked, because, I wouldn't be doing this if I did, but I do get frightened, I'm only human. That frightened me. I was worried then. I really was worried.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
That was too dangerous, because it would have taken nothing for us to slip back.
Yeah.
And we weren't, no, that's not
In the line of work that Paul does, and the team does, there are dangers, whether they be of a spiritual nature or demonic nature, but they are dangerous just technically. I mean, that's why you've got to be so aware and be more than just an investigator. You've got to be everything rolled into one.
I mean, this ain't for the faint-hearted, but I've just found out I have got a faint heart, and it's going bang, bang, bang right now, and I can't calm down at the moment. But no spook's going to beat me. Still keeping our attitude, we're going in now, and now we're going to try to root out where it's coming from.
well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, what they want to believe in or not believe in. So it's not up to us to say to people, yeah, they've got to believe in it if they don't want to. You can't make them believe in it.
You've seen enough to convince you, though, that...
Oh, I've seen enough to convince me.
Since I've been at the London dungeons, I've been ill on a couple of occasions with the same type of effects. Like an headache, but it pushes in, and your stomach hurts, you just feel sick, your legs go jelly.
Eventually it will lead into a much more fully fledged and more recognised discipline of activity. I think all that prevents it from being that now is the rather, perhaps the dodgy history it's had in terms of, there have been fabricated things, there have been people who've abused their position and created, things that are simply just not there. I think the more systematic, more scientific one can get about it, and clearly the more evidence that is gathered, then the more people will tolerate the fact that there may be other things that we yet don't know about in our heavily rational, scientific, world of that actually those conventional sciences don't necessarily explain all there is to explain.
I believe in the paranormal. The reason I do this kind of work is because I want to define it. I don't want to depart this earth not knowing, not having my own kind of proof. So long as I know, then I'll be happy.
It's interesting because you do hear stories that are very similar to what I've experienced, and they all seem to cope with it themselves. The last person everybody goes to is a psychologist, just because of the fear of going into a nut house and having the key thrown away. It's a frightening thought. So most people try and cope with it themselves, and it takes a few years to get your mind settled down and trying to live a normal life again.
If there is a ghost here, I feel that we should leave it be. I mean, it doesn't cause any problem to anyone. There's not been any incidents where anything's happened that's been evil or nasty, so I feel leave it be.
Something of the dungeon size and their reputation, it's not a thing you can just come in and do in a few hours. You need an intense investigation on this one.
Brought up not to believe in ghosts or anything like that, but I believe now, yes.
It is just a personal fight between me and good and evil.
It's getting more threatening, more dangerous. We had an exorcist man come down here, and he picks up 3 demons at the beginning of the boat ride. Who knows? I mean, put that with the voice we got, that's a demonic activity, playing with someone's lives. Ghosts, they're just simple, hello type of things. But demons are, another kettle of fish. This is playing with our lifespan.
Now people often ask me, does it have any noticeable side effect working here in the dungeon? And I always say, yes, it does actually. What it does, strangely enough, is it sends you completely insane.